This is Al Bracken with the Community Wellness Show. I am here today, this morning, with Kelly Vaughn, my co-host. Kelly, how are you doing today?
Hi, Al. A new program stemming originally from COVID-19 recovery.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Just to give everybody another little background on how we got started. We got started through the COVID initiative with the Community Pandemic Wellness Initiative. And after that was done, after a couple of years, we saw a lot of need to continue our programming. And from that, we started a wellness initiative within Community Action at our office on Meridian. We continue a wellness connection ministry with the pastors that work with us. And we also started an immigration program called the New Neighbors Program that was a part of that initiative as well. So we're happy to be here today to continue that wellness initiative with our pastor, Beverly, Barney. Welcome. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be with you
Welcome
today.
to the show.
It's just good. I'm excited about wellness.
I know. I see you on social media. I see you on social media all the time on Facebook. And I'll scroll through and give us an example of some of the things that you put out there on social media.
Well, I like to put a lot of tips out there about nutrition and things to increase the awareness that people just don't know. Small things, small changes. For instance, I'm real hardcore on abstaining from sugar because of the way it affects your immune system and
Wait a minute.
how it's...
You're done. Cut. You're done, Al.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just the way it's a non-nutrient food, and it causes, it has to take away from something in your body in order to metabolize it. Like it takes the calcium away to metabolize it, and it can cause magnesium deficiency. So many things that people don't know. And if you take a good look at it, you're like, wow, I do it in 30 seconds. So I have a lot of good tips out there for people just not using processed food and leaving white sugar or processed sugars alone. And that's really hard because sugar is in everything, right? So we're reaching.
And we love it.
Oh, of course you love it.
Pastor?
Yeah. Look, I used to be the queen of bake, all right? I don't think that if there's something that you want to taste good, I can do it. Okay, and so now people are still calling, will you bake this for me? No, I don't do that anymore because it's non-negotiable for me anymore. The sugar and the damage that it really does is non-negotiable. That's a term that I use now that it's my mainstay. Non-negotiable, not touching it.
What are some of the other elements or non-negotiable? And don't say alcohol. But is that one of the...
Refined, no.
Because this is no alcohol. We're taping this in January, and this is no alcohol January.
Okay.
So we're hearing a lot of that. So it's okay for you to say that at this point.
Okay.
So what are some of the other non-negotiables?
I personally don't drink. So that's my choice, you know, and that's the story behind that growing up and everything and seeing alcoholism all around me, that I made a decision that that would not be in my life. But alcohol consumption, especially during these COVID times, people are reaching for different things to calm them or satisfy them. So, and when you say, let's keep it to a minimum of 1 to 2 drinks, sure, that's great to think about that, but to actually do it once people start, it's really hard to stop a train that's in motion, right? 1 to 2 drinks, and then what starts out as something you like or easy, depending on your threshold, you can start an addiction. And so we have to be careful with that.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about sugar and that how it can actually keep you from absorbing certain things. I had never even heard that before, so thank you for that. But I had heard many times about it just has zero nutritional value whatsoever.
Yes.
And I had read even years ago where the sugar industry spent millions on research to try to find one little thing about it that was beneficial. And they couldn't. They couldn't.
I believe it. I believe it.
And so it is really just, and you talked about addictions. Sugar.
Yes.
I mean, let's be real.
Yes.
You know, it is.
It's an
People
addiction.
can be addicted to sugar. No.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. It's the way we're made. You know, it fills in another pathway that it causes addictions. You want it, your body begins to use it. It's just like with other addictions. What you start out, it's something you do, but then your body begins to use it to build cells, and you use sugar for energy. People do, and you get the highs, then you bottom out, then you start craving it again, and of course your brain needs the glucose, and so then what do? You reach for more sugar to put it back, to build it up, and then you're like a yo-yo or a roller coaster, you're up and down. Whereas which is really a big thing in the community, as far as I'm concerned, is helping our people to learn to have balanced blood sugar levels, because that rolls into other areas such as obesity and all of those type of things. Yeah. And then we don't want to go from one area of sugar to artificial sweeteners, because we create another monster.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is one show just.
Yeah, this could be 5 or 6 different
Exactly.
shows, because you're bringing up a lot of good things. But let's just back up slightly.
Okay.
Give us your definition of wellness, and tell us about your journey with wellness and how you got started.
Okay. Well, wellness is, by definition, there's so many definitions out there, and wellness is a lifestyle of well-being. That's what I believe. And it's a journey, okay? It's a journey. Health and wellness. Health is a state of being, but wellness is a lifestyle of well-being. With my journey, I've been working with nutrition and wellness for a long time, probably over 30 or 40, almost 30 or 40 years. That's okay. I know I'm telling my age, but that's okay.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I started working in, after finally working in nutrition and dietetics. I was sharing with you just a few minutes ago that I was working on my degree in dietetics, nutrition and dietetics, and was in the last class when I just said, I'll just take this class to take it. And when I took it, it was wellness. So that very last class caused me to change my mind about just settling in nutrition, because nutrition is very important, because I'm also a certified functional nutritionist. But it's one piece of the puzzle, okay? With wellness, it involves physical, emotional, spiritual, relational, we can go on. But I decided, and so my husband and I purchased a franchise, The Growth Coach. And so we started doing business coaching, and with small businesses doing business coaching. In the process of that, I learned so much with helping people grow their business and bringing people together that my ultimate goal was, I had a call to be a pastor. Okay, so I had to sort out everything. But during the growth coach and helping people with their businesses, I learned how to bring everything under one umbrella. So I was able to bring coaching, business coaching, wellness coaching, all of it together under one umbrella. But my journey, and I have always struggled with weight, and found out that I had a thyroid problem. Shortly after I was married, I was having severe chest pain. And I thought, oh my gosh. So when I went to the doctor, it wasn't a heart problem or anything, it was a thyroid problem. And so a lot of people in our community have problems with thyroid issues, and they really don't know it, which brings me to another point, that how important it is to have a general practitioner, a doctor that you can talk to and can work with you, so we're not using the emergency room as our point of contact for wellness. So our process, my journey is long.
Well, that's a great point, and I can guarantee you that every insurance company in America just called to say thank you for stressing that, because I've got a lot of experience myself in working with seniors, and it never ceases to amaze me how many of the seniors that we work with do not have a primary care provider.
Yes.
Or if they do have one, they don't know their name.
Yes.
We see that a lot.
Yes, it's so important, and that you have one that you can work with and one that listens to you. When you begin to make changes, when you talk about wellness, it's important that you do assessments before you make any change. It's really important. Sometimes a change isn't physically, as far as eating and things like that, isn't necessary. Your factor may be that you're under a lot of stress, your lifestyle. You may need to change your lifestyle. Say, change a job. Well, I need the money, but okay, if it's causing that much stress and affecting you, then you need to make some changes. And isn't it something how just one thing will affect the other? And that's why we talk about a lifestyle of well-being. One of the tools that you can use is what they call the wellness wheel. And you know, I like to use different tools, and you put the different areas on a chart, it's like a pie chart, and you see where you're overdoing in one area and underdoing in another, and then you work to balance it out.
Okay.
Is that a physical, like a roulette wheel or something?
It's not a roulette wheel, but it's a wheel.
Next time you come on,
Okay.
there will be a next time, bring the wheel.
Okay.
So
we can talk. Look
Right.
at
He thinks this is Wheel
You
of
think
Fortune
you're gonna
show.
get to-
You got the wrong show.
Bring the wheel, because you may be the most perfect wellness guest that we've had this year. Well, you're the
thank
first
you. The
wellness
first.
guest. You're the first wellness guest, but I'm
And
sorry.
certainly
Kelly.
not our last. No. And then you mentioned earlier thyroid, and we're getting ready
Yes,
to take a break.
yes,
but Dr. Dale Geyer, who is at the Geyer Institute of Molecular Medicine on East 86th Street, told me years ago that he said most people, even over 40, have a thyroid deficiency. And blood tests don't always tell you what a problem you have, because sometimes it's not that you're deficient in thyroid, your body does not use it efficiently. So I just wanted to bring that up, that if you're over 40, you probably have a thyroid problem, don't even know it. It's quite common, and probably some situations are worse than others. But you mentioned the word change, and that's what I want to focus on in the second half, change.
Okay.
Easier said
Than done.
So when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Pastor Beverly Barney. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, my name is Terrence White, and I'm the Executive Director of Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. Serving the counties of Marion, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Boone, our mission is to empower those we serve to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. We offer a variety of programming, including senior and youth programs, case management, weatherization, financial coaching, and more. Please visit our website for more information or call 317-396-1800.
Over 70% of Americans want to spend their final days at home with family and friends.
With hospice care, we can take care of your father at home, right in his bedroom, including visits by a nurse.
I'm so relieved to hear that.
This will make Grandpa really happy. He's comfortable and pain-free.
Visit our website at www.hospicesupportfund.org to connect with your local nonprofit hospice and download our free end-of-life planner.
And we're back here on the Community Wellness Program, and we're talking to Beverly Barney, Pastor Bev, and she's also a certified wellness coach and functional nutritionist. And wanted to start this second half off with the word change. And we talked about sugar addiction and really just about anything that we're hooked on. In fact, it's really not, to me, just sugar, but carbohydrates. There's actually a book, I think the last name is Heller, is the name of the author, called the Carbohydrate Addicts Program. So how do we make those changes? Because you were saying lifestyle changes. And let me say this, I used to say years ago when I did radio, that when it comes to your children, why don't we make them get up in the morning like we make them make their beds and do a little exercise routine. You need to do 10 sit-ups and 10 push-ups before you go to school. Establishing the habit
That's it.
of exercising. So when we're younger, you know, our parents give us stuff and sugar and this is what we're used to, and then all of a sudden I'm 45 or 50 and now the doctor says I can't have it.
Yes.
I don't know. That didn't sound good. I think that's gonna work.
It's change. I remember when my youngest son, well, actually both my children, when I sent them, by the time they were ready for school, I didn't give them sugar because I didn't want them to be addicted or go through what I had to go through. And lo and behold, when I sent them to school, what did they reward them with? Sugar. They rewarded them with candy. So I think when we think about change, it begins at home. If somehow we can get people to develop the healthy habits at home, and then when we send them to school, make sure we tell our educators, we don't want you to reward our children with this or that. We want some other type of reward rather than a eating or candy or something like that. It begins at home because like you said, when we become adults, then here we are. We are stuck with these habits, these lifelong habits, and now all of a sudden you go to the doctor, you tell me, and I have to make this change. But like I said earlier, it's an assessment. We have to sit down and look at it. And one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is to avoid processed foods, okay? And avoid the refined sugars. Because when you do that, I have found that many times when I start working with people that want to lose weight or change their lifestyle, if I tell them the first week, okay, let's just eliminate all of your drinks that have sugar or high fructose corn syrup in it. Leave it alone. There, we're cutting down the amount of sugar that's going into unrefined stuff that's going into your body. And within a week, their body will start to change. They'll start to, wow, I'm actually feeling better. You know, there have been research done that show, they did it with a group inmates, and they found out that they were more violent when they were feeding them diets that weren't good, right? And when they took those away and changed their diet, had a whole different personality. We're the same way. I put a post up about being grumpy, tired, and overwhelmed. When you're eating all of those refined things and everything, it affects your body. You are grumpy, you're irritable, and you want more of it. So change, I always say, start low and go slow. All right?
So do it gradually.
Do it gradually.
Eliminate one thing, get used to it, give your body a chance to get used to it.
Oh, she's
I'll tell you,
teaching
it took
wellness.
me
Come on,
probably
girl.
15 years to get off sugar, though.
Yes.
People always say, oh, you can change your habit in 3 months. And I will say that it's the repetition. And a lot of times, like especially with weight loss, you fail.
Yes.
And then you start over again. You think, oh, I just failed. No, every time you do that, you're practicing the new habit. And
Yes.
trust me, over time, you will master it. I can now go without sugar.
Yes.
And it doesn't
Good.
even bother me. But there was a
Good.
time when I first did it, I couldn't get off the couch.
You couldn't. Well, and your body goes through changes. That's the thing. And we have to understand that. And we have to be gentle with ourselves because remember, it's not just physical, it's emotional, right? It's spiritual. I want to say here, and we didn't ask that it's important to have connections, to stay connected in community with people that can help you. Or people, your family, you know, good connections. Not everybody in the family, I hate to say that, is a good connection, but if they're pulling you down, it's time to make a change and not be codependent on people. But it's important to stay connected with people that are going to motivate you. You know, giving somebody a hug, and in COVID times, that's been a little different. But giving somebody a hug can make the difference in your emotion, and it affects your vagus nerve. It affects so much about you by being able to be connected. And that's where, because I am a pastor, I will say that church comes in. Being able to be connected with people that are faith-based is really good for you physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, financially, all of it. It works together.
Processed foods, could you go over some of those since you mentioned that?
Gads.
She got the list. Go ahead and pull it out.
No, I'm not gonna pull the list out, okay? And I used to be hooked on all of them. Everybody loves, I make a caramel cake that will knock your boots off, okay? But I don't make it anymore because I don't eat it, and I try to discourage others from eating, but they beg for it. But processed foods, all white flours, anything that the nutrients have been removed. You know, I like to tell people, and if you read labels, if it's listed sugar's listed 1, 2, or 3, don't eat it, okay? Because that's one of the main ingredients.
What are some of the other names for sugar because sometimes they put...
Well, it's either going to be glucose or it's going to be sucrose. That's the table sugar, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sucrose is refined. They've stripped away all of your vitamins and all of your minerals. You know, when you look at white flour products, that's refined, it's processed. You want to try to go with foods that have been minimally processed, that bring with it nutrition.
Whole foods.
Whole foods, basically. There's not an awful lot, if it's, and then that goes into another arena, whole foods, making sure you wash your fruits and vegetables because of the pesticides that they use. And once you eat it, then the pesticides become a part of your body too, and so they're toxins. And so you have to deal with releasing toxins from your body. You say, can we eat anything? Yes, we bless our food, but it's important to know and find out. There's so much, we can't cover it all today. So many things that you can do to keep yourself healthy and avoid toxins and poisons. And even in your environment, things that you're breathing, that's another area. Making sure that your home has air purifiers and things like that. Yes.
You mentioned the caramel cake. Now, couldn't you do one? She brought that up.
That was 15 minutes ago.
She came back, it clicked her mind.
Yeah.
And I know if I request one, I'm not going to get one, because I love your conviction as a part of your ministry that you don't do that. But couldn't you create one that was healthy? That's my challenge to you, Pastor.
Is there such a thing as a healthy caramel cake?
Whole flour, organic flour, whole
It's not
flour.
going to taste the same. I can make it to suit my taste buds. You know, there are a lot of there's some sweeteners out there that you can use that are good for you. For instance, now, maple syrup, 100%. Everybody don't run out and buy the bottle with a woman. No.
It's $16 a bottle, by the way. I can run it out no way.
Yes, and then you still can't use a lot of those, but it has more nutrients in it. And
pure maple
honey,
syrup is what
pure,
you're saying.
100%. And then there's honey, but you can't use a lot of that because of the way your body uses it. But anything that we do is going to require some discipline, right, if we use it. But we still... Making that caramel cake, there's no way to make it the way your taste buds remember it.
But see, that's the thing, is that we're not really looking for the original. We're looking for a good substitution.
That's it.
And just like Diet Coke, it doesn't taste like regular Coke, but we learn to live with it.
Yes.
It does have an aftertaste, so
and
that's what I mean.
you need to leave the Diet Coke alone, okay?
I got you, but I'm just saying, when it first came out, you know, that was kind of cool back
Exactly.
then. I remember my mother drinking it, and I know it has the bad sweeteners in it, but I'm just saying that, and I try not to drink it. I only drink it maybe twice a month, because every now and then you just want a cold pop. But, you know, it is to me, still, as bad as it is better than sugar.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
But, and that's okay. You've accepted that and you're willing to do that. And that's another thing.
And that's why you only do it every now and then. Because anything, I don't like using aluminum, but if I go to a repast, I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to eat the food after the funeral because it was cooked in you know, I mean, some of it you have to be realistic that you live in the world. And
Yeah, everybody's not me. No. So
exactly.
Pastor, have you ever heard the term Debbie Downer?
No. Did he just call me Debbie Downer? He just called me Debbie Downer in a sweet way.
She's a pastor. Just watch your mouth.
Pastor Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer.
You're going to have to tell us something more realistic that we can do, that we can eat before this show ends. So you can start now.
Well, you can eat fruit. Okay, fruit is... When you'll find that when you stop eating so much refined sugar, that you really enjoy the taste of food and the taste of fruits. Here's a key. One of the reels that I made talks about if you can keep your carbohydrates to about 30 grams per meal. Then you won't have those spikes of blood sugar, and then you won't be craving more of those sweet things, okay? All right, tell it to my husband. He loves all the sugar and all the sweets.
Let me ask you this, from your professional opinion. Do you think that our taste buds change as we age? Have you heard anything to that effect? Do our eating habits normally change?
Some people, you know, the strength of the sweetness, I mean, because I have removed things, it doesn't take a lot of sweetness like it used to. You know, eating a date, some people don't like dates, is sweet enough. Eating a fig, and I know somebody doesn't like figs, so she's talking foreign stuff. That's sweet enough. Eating even apple chips, dehydrated apple chips, crunchy, sweet, real fruit, real foods. You still can't go overboard, but real foods, good for you. And you'll find that you won't even miss all of the refined foods. When you start eating healthier, your body will say, oh, I don't want that. I don't like that. People eat so many French fries, okay? You don't have to have all the fat in the French fries, you know, and I know there are air fryers now. You can use that, but you don't want to go overboard on any of that. But you can have good fries, steak fries in an air fryer versus downing it in a ton of grease or oil.
And bad oils often. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Bad oils often too.
Yes. And so there are ways. We just have to learn them and we have to be taught. And many people in our community just don't take the time to educate.
Okay, well, you have taken the time to educate us today.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
And we appreciate you coming by. I'm feeling better already. What about you, Al?
Absolutely.
I'm Debbie Downer.
Outside of that, not for me, but I'm just saying. Great information. We're going to have you back to talk more about your wellness ministry and how that plays into everything that you and your husband do. Because we want to make sure that we bring you over to our wellness community with CAGI also.
Okay, yes. And your church, where do you pastor?
I pastor It Is Well Church Ministries, and we're located in the Jewel Center at 3333 North Illinois with my husband, Pastor Reginald Barney.
Okay, and information about what you offer as a certified wellness coach on the screen. Thank you so much, Pastor Barney, for joining us.
Thank you for having
so
me.
much.
I appreciate it. And
All
to
right.
our community.
Enjoyed it. Very educational.
Thank you.
Right. And thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughn.
And I'm Al Bracken.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.